They would post the grades at the bulletin, like outside the certain building, designated buildings. And I just remember like looking for my name, and I'd be looking, and then I would see the F, and I would just start crying.
You know what? In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Genius Brain Podcast. We have a very special guest. It's actually a guest that you guys have been asking for.
Really?
No shit.
That's what's up.
Yeah. Steebee motherfucking weebee.
Thank you.
You know
it's good being here.
Bro, when you texted me, I put your name as your actual name, Steve Lee.
Yeah.
And when it popped up, I was like, yo, who the fuck is this?
Thanks.
What the fuck is this? Hitting me up asking me for a favor. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, oh wait, it's Steebee. I was like, this is different.
Okay. Oh, that's way different.
Well, because I know you.
Okay, it's Steve is different than a Steebee.
Well, I know another Steve Lee, and I'm like, what the fuck, Steve Lee? You fucking sheepseki? Like, don't hit me up.
That would be like Pete, but the real alias is Pee Wee. Oh, it's Pee Wee.
I thought it was like some random Steve Lee from my church from like back in the day.
Back in the
and
day.
I'm like, I only know like a couple of Steve Lees. And
I
I'm
asked
like,
you for editing work or something.
I was like, what the fuck? Well, it's because like, you know, people come out of the woodwork sometimes. Like,
oh, do they do that to you now?
Bro,
because you're come on, man. You're successful. You're doing your thing, man.
Let me tell you, like, so I had a dude that hit me up. I hadn't talked to this guy in fucking years, right? And the last time I talked to him, I almost whooped his ass. Like,
well, what did he do?
It was at a
hey, I was wondering if you want to do a business venture. You know, I just need $800,000. I got a donut shop I wanted to do right there on the corner.
It's a Cambodian donut shop. So he hit me up. And he's like, hey, bro, how have you been? I didn't know who the fuck it was.
Yeah.
And I text him back. I'm like, question mark, who the fuck is this? Right? He was like, oh, it's me, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to say his name.
From junior high school.
And he's like, yo, bro, like I live in Seattle now and I'm actually getting married. And I heard that you're...
venture. It has business venture written all over it,
It's not even a business venture.
Business venture.
He was asking me to marry him and his wife.
Wow.
Because he found out that I was an ordained minister and I married a couple of my friends.
All right, that's kind of out of the blue. I wasn't expecting that.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
That's way out of left field.
Number one, I don't even fucking like weddings. Like number two.
Yeah, who likes weddings?
And I messaged him back. I'm like, bro, who the fuck are you?
you start. That's why I've always admired you. You cut to the chase.
I don't got time for this. I don't give a fuck about him. You know,
yeah, but you said, who the fuck are you?
Yeah, I was like, dog, I haven't talked to you in years.
Yeah.
And on top of that, the last time we talked, I almost beat your ass. What the fuck are you talking about right now?
Yeah.
Right? He was like, oh man, like that's no disrespect. And I was like, no disrespect, dude. I didn't even know who like it's been so long, I don't even have your number in my phone.
It's like, he's expecting you to be the priest of the fucking wedding.
It's like he wants me to marry him and his wife, his wife now. I've never even met her.
Wow.
You know what I mean? I haven't talked to him in years.
According to him, you guys have history, you and the wife.
Yeah, like we're tight because we went to the same church.
You were 5th grade?
Yeah. Some weird shit. So when I saw you, I was like, who the fuck is Steve Lee?
Well, when did it register? Oh, it's Steve.
Well, when I read it, I was like, Steve. I was like, I had to sit there for a little bit, and then you said,
you had the footage.
I read it again and said album. I'm like, oh, this is Stevie.
Okay.
Album.
Okay, yeah,
now
yeah.
it makes sense. But you have an album coming out.
Yeah. Oh, you went right to like I thought we could do this at the end.
No.
I want to talk about the peacocks in your neighborhood.
We'll get to that too.
The fucking peacocks everywhere.
I only found out that you rapped not too long ago, and I actually found out through Dumb.
Yeah, I fucking again, like, I'm not from LA or anything, but I've always been a fan of the culture, the art, and I've always looked at it as, a art form, similar to like the way fucking painters do their shit, and I've always, and like my kind of, knowledge came from like just watching Yo MTV Raps at first, every day at 4:30, and then Dr. Dre, I'd love it. You'd be like, and then it's not like it wasn't even your traditional like rap groups. It was the things that caught my eye were like the weird groups, like what's Dell? Like, who's Dell?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, this is really tight, Or who's the Boogie Monsters? Or who's the Far Side, or Cypress Hill? Okay, that's probably a better example. And then I was obsessed with them. And then like through years, I mean, it's been a definite progression where I'm a fan first. I'm a fan. I love the 90s shit, you know? But then when I went to ASU, it was first when I saw The Far Side. I saw The Far Side like in high school. My homie had a Suzuki Samurai. It was maybe even a school night. He goes, hey, there's this group performing at the distillery in Escondido. I'm like, who? I remember walking to that club. It was a little dinky club. I'm like, what farce? What is this?
That's
and
crazy.
I just remember seeing the stickers. It was like the dog with the fire hydrant, you know, the black and yellow sticker. It's like the traditional Far Side sticker. And then I remember this kid walking by before the show started, like, Far Side in the house, or said something like, oh, they have a fan base. I knew that.
Yeah.
I didn't say fan base. Back then, I don't think people said shit like that. Oh, they have a fan base. But in my mind, I'm like, oh, well, people know about these guys.
But they had those fan clubs like back in, they would connect online and they would do meetups and shit.
Yeah, this was like 91. Like this is before like they even dropped Bizarre Ride to the Far Side.
Okay.
So it was like they've just got signed or about to get something before they even released their album.
Damn, you were like at the inception of Far Side.
Yeah, the inception where, and boy, let me tell you, that performance really rocked my world. Like, I mean, they were wearing Vans, like Caballero, you know, they're doing sit-ups on stage. And it was like so bizarre. Like it was bizarre, but really impressive. Like Fat Lip had a shirt off. They're, doing weird fucking pop locking moves and routines. And I'm like, okay, I love this shit. And so that's part of my rearing where I like just experiencing that. I went to a concert in 89. It was the Sugar Cubes, Public Image Limited, but then De La Soul.
Oh, shit.
De La Soul was also on the roster of this festival or concert. I was in 8th grade. So I'm like, oh. And that's when I fell in love with them, and I bought 3 Feet High and Rising. So I'm just giving you kind of like a history of how I discovered it. And like, shocking enough, my brother was always like a punk rock or indie rock dude. You know, he had Bob Marley posters around.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, this is the weird thing, right? Because you and your brother's taste in music is way different.
Way different. No, but people don't realize it's way different. But I learned because I used to. Have you seen the movie Mid-90s?
No.
Oh, it pays homage to like 90s skateboarding, but there's a scene where they have the same dynamic. Older brother, young brother. Older brother would leave and the young brother would go into his room and like go through his CD collection. Like I did that with Bob. Like he wouldn't be home and I would sneak in his room and I would go through his record collection. Dude, he would have like, I learned about Echo and the Bunnymen and like Black Flag to Bob Marley to Depeche Mode to like The Cure and stuff like that. I feel like
your brother like listens to white boy depression music like that. That's like the shit that he likes.
According to him, it's math rock.
Okay, what the fuck is that?
I know. So it's like he schooled me one day. He's like, I go, what is this? It's math rock, dude. No, it's not that. It's math rock, dude. Math rock. It's like, what? So math rock, I guess it's indie rock, kind of like punk rock, but it's technical. No, this is the math. This is where the math terminology comes into play. It's technical. So the chord progressions are math, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like really intricate.
Does he play instruments?
You know, dude, believe it or not, I don't know if he's going to get mad at this, but he was in a hippie band. Like,
get the fuck out of here.
So really? It was, the name of the band was called Laxton Superb. And
yo.
And then if you look that up, it's named after an apple. So Laxton Superb. It's a type of apple. Man, there's footage out on the internet of them performing.
Really?
Yeah, dude. He's got long James Eha hair, dude, and he's like waving it around like, dude, it's the movie. Dude, I'm not lying at all. It's out there. The evidence is out there, dude. So he was okay. So you said, dude. So he had this keyboard. He had this Juno keyboard that he bet my
Juno keyboard.
It's like a Juno. He bet my mom He begged my mom to buy it for him. And so he was working at some coffee shop in La Jolla, and he got swindled for it.
What are you doing? Hold on a second. Yo, hold on a second. Yo, how the fuck?
Fucking panicking. And this guy approached him like he's a record producer.
No fucking way.
Or something. And he said, here, you can borrow my keyboard. And dude, it was like a $2,000 keyboard. Yeah, dude. So, dude, I'm telling you, my brother's got piano skills galore.
Really?
Yeah, dude. He could play. But he was, dude, I don't know. He might make me edit that out.
At a coffee shop just comes up to him.
No, it wasn't a random thing. It was some guy he knew, but this guy was like a talker.
Okay.
He probably frequented like the coffee shop like a lot.
Let me see your keyboard. And he just runs out the door.
No, it wasn't like that. Okay. It was more like on like kind of like staking it out.
Yeah.
Grooming him. Per se.
If I lost a $2,000 keyboard that my parents got me at the time, I would have been dead.
Oh yeah.
I think my parents would have beat the fucking blood out of my veins.
Yeah. You know, this is going back to even like growing up in a Korean household.
Yeah.
Like I remember one night, dude, like he had just gotten out of rehab or relapsed on whatever. And you know Korean fathers, they're like hella temperamental. Mm-hmm. Highly abusive. to say the least.
Oh yeah,
highly abusive. Yeah. In hindsight, I had to talk to my therapist about all this stuff.
Yeah.
Just trying to go through it and just try to work through these things.
Well, because we're both Korean too, and we kind of just accept it as fact, and we don't really think about the future repercussions that has on us as an adult.
We didn't realize. Oh well, white people don't do that. It's not like this at the Olivers. it's different there. I see his dad hugging him.
Yeah,
I love you, son.
They have a positive affirmation.
Not our dads.
Yeah.
But so anyway, it was at nighttime, and we had like a long hallway. This is our house in Poway. A long hallway, and like our bedrooms are on the hallway. The master bedroom there, my Oma and Appa's were at the end.
Yeah.
And then I hear commotion in the hallway, like not commotion, but like boom, like, and I just squeaked open my door. They're doing Jackie Chan versus Jet Li, like kung fu.
Oh, they were fighting each other.
Kung fu fight.
Get the fuck out of here.
No, like my dad was doing high Mao Tai knee, Sagat knee.
Dude, I just pictured your dad as like, I've been waiting for 20 years to kick you ass.
Yeah. And so, but the one thing that stood out is, damn, Bob fought back. He was doing like, he's trying to get double leg takedowns and he was like backing him up. Mm-hmm. It was like a back and forth mutual like aggressive exchange between father and son.
Wow.
And so you can only imagine me like just peeping this out like just through a crack of my door.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, dude. He's gonna be so mad.
No, it's crazy too because like there's a moment where you kind of realize that you could probably size up your dad. Well, my dad's like 5'4". I'm sorry. I'm 6'1".
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It sounds just about right.
Yeah.
That sounds perfectly correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't have to tell me twice. I'm laughing, but I'm like, wait a minute, that's normal.
Yeah, I'm a lot bigger than my dad, right? And so like even for me too, but I think because they beat your ass so much when you're younger, you can't to get that psychological switch of I could stop you if I want to.
Yeah.
It takes a bit of time.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I was bigger than him when I was in the 8th grade.
Right.
But for him, like I remember when I went to college and people was like, they would talk about their parents and be like, oh, remember back in the day when you used to get spanked? I'm like, what do you mean back in the day? My dad beat my ass yesterday. What the fuck are you talking about?
Not just spanking, they use weapons and shit too, like belts and shit.
I told the story on the podcast before where when I was a kid in elementary school, I specifically remember the shit because I was a class clown. I used to make jokes a lot. Right. But if you're a class clown, you obviously get in trouble. And it was I remember the specific joke that I made. It was in 4th grade.
Back then, elementary school.
This is elementary school.
Oh, shit.
And so I made this stupid little joke where the teacher was doing an exercise where she wanted to use visualization. And she was like, I was like, I can't do it because I don't have a camera in my head, so I can't take a picture.
Yeah.
And so, that made the kids laugh. And she goes, I'm calling your parents. And I went, fuck.
Oh, yeah.
Because she doesn't know what happens when you call my parents.
No,
it's not like they come over and I get reprimanded, with a slap on the wrist. I'm about to get my ass beat.
This is they don't realize you're dealing with a whole different planet of like consequences.
She doesn't
this
know.
is a different thing.
And so my dad comes over and then she starts explaining how I'm disruptive in class. I make a lot of jokes. And my dad is just kind of smiling nicely.
You shamed the family.
And then in my ear, he's whispering to me in Korean.
See what happens when you cut it home.
너 집에 가면 너 죽었어? 너 죽었어, 이 개새끼야. And I'm crying.
So translation, when you get home, you're dead.
Yeah, you're dead.
You just said that.
Yeah, and so I'm crying, but the teacher doesn't know. She's like, your father's very pleasant.
Oh,
And I'm like, no. You don't know what the fuck he's saying to me right now.
Yeah.
So we get home. And my dad is just speeding on the way back home because he's fucking pissed, right? He always drives like 1,000 miles per hour when he's mad. We get home, he goes, "너 먼저 들어가." Like, go in first.
You go in first.
Right. So I open the door, right? And
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I just had a visual, dude. This is PTSD.
Yeah.
Oh, please.
So I go inside, right? And it's just dead quiet.
Yeah.
And he tells me to go into the living room.
Oh, yeah.
And then it's just dead quiet. I turn
No
around.
kondangi.
I fucking turn around and a fucking office chair is flying at my head.
Oh, yeah. That sounds right.
Bow! Hits me in the head. And then my dad starts like WWE stomping me on the floor.
Yeah. Oh, I got one for you. I got another one for you. So I'm in a 5th, 6th grade. I have the new Casio first ever sampling keyboard.
Okay.
Where you could press a button and go, hey, and then the lower octaves, hey. Mm-hmm. The Freddy Krueger keyboard. It's me and my white friend David Oliver laying, he's on the bed, we're fucking around with it. My dad was taking a nap.
Oh, shit.
He was taking a nap. Mm-hmm. He's got like 3 clothing store, but he's tired. Mm-hmm. Dude, he fucking bum rushes in the room butt naked. Yes, yeah! And he fucking pulls the keyboard out of the socket and uses it as like Thor's fucking hammer on my back. Like he uses boom. He's beating my ass. In front of
David Oliver?
It probably traumatized him to this day.
He's just like,
it traumatized him to this day.
These
I mean, yeah. And so he's fucking, I'm crying. Oh, Dad, I'm sorry. Dude, that's not the traumatic part. So he beats my ass. I don't know. I felt like he broke my back. Uh-huh. He's leaving the room, and I look. I see his fucking ass. There's fucking tissue paper sticking out of his ass, dude. No, it's like a fucking like a long. Not even. It was like stringy. It was like a tampon. Like the string. So that's what I remembered from this traumatic event. Like, damn, my dad's asshole's like moist or something. Like, he got like a moist. He got like a wet butthole or something. That's like some Korean remedy. Like,
wait,
it was like I don't know. I didn't ask.
Yeah.
Why would you?
You just had
I'll get another beating for asking. Like, hey, Dad, why do you have tissue paper sticking out of your asshole? You don't even ask when you're 18.
Yeah.
Or even 25
you just accept
or 35 or 85 years old. You never ask. That's just something.
Yeah.
That's some other shit.
Why is he naked?
That's a good question.
I'm trying to figure out why he thought it was appropriate to show his dick to another fucking white kid named David Oliver.
Pretty good question. I guess the only thing I can think of, you're putting me on the spot. Maybe in like where he's from, Busan. I don't know what the fuck. Maybe in his Korean village or whatever.
Yeah.
That's the way they did it in their. I don't know.
What the fuck?
I know, butt naked, dude.
Was he butt naked all the time for no reason?
That's also a good question.
Like in the house, like he's naked?
No. But that day he was.
The day that David Oliver came over.
Dude, imagine what that would do if you were like a white kid.
What if like...
imagine what he would think of Korean families after that. Like, this is how they do it in their household?
Did he come over again after that?
I don't think so. For a long time. I would get so jealous. I'd go to their house and like I said, like... Man, this kid had it all. He had like an aquarium like with lizards. He had like a nice bookshelf. He had like all, not to say like we had a good upbringing, but like the way his father embraced him, I was so fucking jealous. Like he would walk down the steps and he would hug him in front of me. He'd go, son, I love you. I love you so much, son.
My
and
dad
then
has
he would
never
say,
said,
"Steven,
I
you're
love
always
you.
welcome. You're always welcome here as well, Steven." You know, they would say shit like that.
Was a fucking violin playing in the back too?
No,
Shit?
no,
Like, what the fuck?
dude, I'm telling you, they had avocado like we would make guacamole, like fresh
Hold on a second.
guacamole.
Hold on a second.
They had avocado trees, dude.
Why the fuck
They
is
fucking
it?
had avocado trees, dude.
Yeah, I like how the avocado tree is the sign of a great family. It's
No,
like,
yeah,
yo, we
dude,
would make guacamoles and
avocados-
fucking fajitas.
No, I'm telling you, man. That's how I learned. I'm not bullshitting you. Back then, that's how I learned how to make guacamole. Because as a child,
From David Oliver.
the
That's
Olivers,
funny.
because every fucking time he'd be like, "Hey, you want to?" They would just get into it. And I remember one ingredient they used.
That's too fucking funny.
You know, they use Mrs. Dash lemon herb
Yeah.
seasoning on it, and that always caught my eye. I'm like, oh, they use Mrs. Dash.
That was the white people salt at the
The
time.
white people shit, yeah.
I remember.
Oh, Mrs. Dash lemon herb.
Yeah.
Yeah, all the time.
What in the fuck? Your dad seems a little more violent than other Korean dads though.
Yes.
Yeah, like my dad definitely didn't come in with tissue paper out of his asshole as he
Yeah.
beats me in front of this white kid named David Oliver.
Yeah, no, it was. Dude,
Like
let me tell you something. I'm glad you brought it up, and you know, rest in peace, pops. Rest in peace. But there was a time where I learned this, like in my 30s, where you know how Koreans, and then like only Koreans will know this, the whole keeping secrets.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking?
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
have to tell you twice.
Yeah.
Right. So there's that obviously in my family, but to the point where, well, dad knocked mom's tooth out. That's how she got that fake tooth.
Damn.
Yeah. And then I'm trying to work through this, and my brother's involved too. He's like, dude, I thought you knew. I'm like, no, motherfucker, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
What the fuck? He's like, oh, I thought you knew. You don't remember that day we had to take the dresser and put it in front of the door, and mom's bleeding. There's blood coming out of my mom's mouth. I'm like, I think this is what happened. I think as a child,
Deleted it out here.
as a child, it was so traumatic. Like I like blocked that out because I was like kind of remembering like glimpses of it or like the feeling, and I do remember like even when we lived in Minnesota and shit of like my mom like barricading doors and shit. Yeah, my dad was a monster. He was a
your mom-
monster back then.
And your mom stayed with him throughout the whole thing.
Well, this is going back to the Korean.
Yeah,
mentality.
there's a stigma too of like
There's a stigma
yeah.
of even when the man knocks your tooth out, you stay. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's fucking crazy.
That's fucking nuts.
That's fucking
'cause I
nuts,
know
right?
my parents definitely had like crazy fights. And it's funny too, because my mom thinks that even when I was younger that I wouldn't remember these things. But I remember like we were talking on the phone not too long ago. And I was telling her about a couple of my other friends who are going through marital issues, right? And I was
Yeah.
asking her advice because I'm not married. And I was like, hey, well, they're asking me, you know, for advice and, you know, do you have any wisdom to impart? And I kind of told them about the situation. And my mom was like, well, their relationship's all fucked up. Why are they even together? I was like, well, hold on, you fucking freak. Like, hold on a second. I was like, do you remember when I was like 8 years old, you threw a fully loaded rice cooker at our dad's head? And she goes, you remember that?
Oh, like I mean, that's the thing. It's like you can't just erase this shit.
I was like, yes, I remember. There was rice everywhere.
Oh, there's rice in the cooker.
I had to clean it. Like, I'm like, of course I remember this.
Yeah.
And I said, at the house, you missed his head a little bit.
Yeah.
And then it cracked the tile, and that missing chunk is still there from when you threw the rice cooker. She goes, you have really good memory.
Yeah, oh yeah, we don't
she
forget.
said. Yeah, I remember that shit, you fucking psychopath.
Yeah, Korean parents are weird. They got this also that some of them can be a bit racist as far as like who they want you to be with too. You know,
My parents.
it can't just be any Asian. It's got to be South Korean. 한국 사람이야, 한국 사람.
You know what's
like,
interesting?
What the fuck?
Like my parents weren't so concerned about the race part. They were concerned about our kids not being able to speak Korean. So they were okay with me being with another ethnicity, but they had to know how to speak Korean.
What? You're a girl?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, my parents were okay. Well, my dad's a pastor.
Oh,
So like,
wow.
you know, he doesn't give a fuck. You know, it's just more like, I don't want your kids not to know our culture.
Right,
So
right.
Although white people, he was a little bit like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Because he had like the stigma of like, if you get with the white girl, they're going to leave you.
Yeah. So your dad was the man. He was like The little dude at the Korean church, the pastor at the Korean church.
Yeah, so he was a deacon at the church that we grew up in, and then he started his own church. He opened up his own church.
So he had first dibs on the donuts and all that shit.
All that other shit, dude.
He got the best coffee.
The pastor belly was coming out because everybody would give them food.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that Korean church, that was another kind of experience where...
Dude, it's so weird.
I just knew like the smell of the church and shit. Like I just knew after everyone leaves, I get donuts, wenchels.
All Korean churches smell the same.
Yeah, there's a certain smell.
I'll go into the building. I'm like, Korean people were here.
Yeah,
I could tell.
Yeah. Was your setup where like there's like a grown-up session and then the kids went to...
There's the youth section and the
youth. There's like a whole youth building.
And then in Easter, they would combine the services and I fucking hated it.
But then in order to get the donuts, you'd have to go into the main adult area and then, to try to fend for yourself. Like,
so your dad went to church too?
All Korean, yeah.
That's so funny. It's like your dad...
And they're not religious fucking at all, dude. It's like my mom had no clue. Like she, like once one of her homies got into Jehovah's Witness, guess what? She became a Jehovah's Witness. And then, dude, people don't know this. We attended fucking... the Mormon church for a minute.
Get the fuck out of here.
What Korean motherfucker goes to fucking the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, dog?
How long were you a Mormon for?
I don't know, but dude, it was the most weird fucking experience.
Really?
Talk about you're the only Asian there.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
There's one black family and then there's you. And all white.
It seems like your mom was just looking for any type of salvation.
No, this is elders just knocking on the door and saying, "Hi, this is." You know what I mean? Missionary,
There
whatever.
was a lot of like Korean Jehovah Witnesses that would come to the house, but then they didn't know my father was a pastor. So I would always try to warn these motherfuckers, like, hey don't come to this house. Like my dad will trap you here.
You got the wrong one. So you got the fucking wrong one.
I remember the last time Jehovah Witnesses came to our house, it was these two ajamas that came.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, have you heard of Jehovah Witnesses? And my dad it was on a Sunday, and my dad was like, perfect. He's like, come on in. Like, well, let's talk about it. They walk in, and my dad has like a library shelf full of Christian theology that he's read.
Yeah. Like I said, you got the wrong one today. And you got the wrong one.
I just looked at these poor ladies. I'm like, you should have left when you had the chance.
How's their little illustrated pamphlet?
Yeah.
That thin little fucking pamphlet gonna fucking... battle the doctrines and shit.
So my dad was just talking to them about like Protestant and like Catholicism and like Christian theology for like 8 hours, and these people got exhausted. Yeah, but then they were there for so long. My mom made the lunch and dinner.
Yeah,
and I was like, you fucked up. You should have left.
That's something I would never do in like 10 lifespans. Like
100%.
Like go to random people's houses, knock on their fucking door, intrude, and be like, "Hey, can I talk to you about God?" It's like, fuck that.
It's a little odd. I don't know what the approach is. I don't know what the success rate of that is too, right? Like, what's the percentage on that shit?
But that's the thing is, it's in numbers.
Yeah.
God knows how many fucking doors they knock on.
100%.
Like hundreds of doors. Like, hey, they must get good exercise. I don't know.
For you, so like. You got into like rap around.
Yeah,
like,
I'm sorry. Let's get back on. We got off on the Korean shit. We always end up on the Korean shit.
We can talk about that for 3,000 podcasts.
All right, so I got to remember. Okay, so this new album, during quarantine, I was watching movies, just random. I was bored and shit. I was getting my editing done. I was doing everything, but I'm like, watch this. And then I fucking ran across like old movies I used to love as as a kid. Mm-hmm. One of them was Stir Crazy, Gene Wilder, Richard Pryor. And dude, I don't know when you saw that last, but I was dying. Like their performances together, I was fucking, especially both of them together were just genius. And then I was like thinking like, oh, it would be sick if I could do some kind of concept music project out of this. And so that's when the seed was planted. I didn't know what or how, but then I just started like I didn't bite their whole like I would take little clips of shit, and then I would try to make a beat and shit around it, and then whatever dialogue I captured, I would try to make a whole concept. Like there's a scene where like Richard Pryor is in the hospital ward and he's finding out his doctor's Korean.
Oh yeah.
And then the doctor, instead of the doctor saying, "How do you do?" he goes, "How do you go?" And so I sampled just that. How do you go? And I made a whole song. It's about like, how do you go when you die? You know what I mean? Because, people were passing away. MF Doom had just passed.
Yeah.
Fucking Double K from People Under the Stairs had just passed. So I'm like, I want to make, it's like more of a sentimental kind of beat, jazzy beat. And so that's just an example. So I made a whole fucking concept album just from me, like, just watching fucking that movie and getting inspired.
Are you producing all the stuff yourself?
Yeah,
too?
I produced all of it. Yeah. And that's the thing. It took me a while because I'm not one of those, musicians that or rappers that like, hey, you got any hot beats? You know what I mean? I'm not one of those guys. Because for me, this is for personal reasons. I enjoy it's kind of like you paint it. You paint you color it in, or you do it.
Yeah.
Instead of, no, I want to like do it. I want to create the thing, You're
like Prince.
Yeah, I want to do it. I want to do it. I want to, even if it sounds shitty, like, because I did it on GarageBand and my own little 303 sampler, like, even if it's like hella analog or dusty, I made it.
Yeah.
I picked all the sample. I arranged it. I found the drum loop. I did it,
This podcast is brought to you by Raycon, my friends. I don't know about you, but I feel like I'm always looking at a screen now more than ever. I wonder why, and whether you're an avid news watcher or in serious need of a distraction, unplugging yourself is easier said than done, my friends. One of my favorite ways to rest my eyes and still get content I'm itching for? Putting on my Raycon wireless earbuds, you freaking sillies. Raycon earbuds. Sound quality, amazing. Price, even better. And there's a lot of people out there that are selling their expensive earbuds, but guess what? Raycon sounds just as good, if not, maybe even better. Raycons are built to perform anywhere and anytime with water and sweat resistant construction and Bluetooth that pairs quickly and seamlessly. The best part, Raycon makes great sound accessible to everyone with wireless earbuds starting at half the price of other premium audio brands. Raycon's offering 15% off all their products for my listeners, and here's what you got to do to get it. Go to buyraycon.com/brain, and that's it. You'll get 15% off your entire Raycon order, so feel free to grab a pair and a spare. That's 15% off at buyraycon.com/brain. That's buyraycon.com/brain. Yeah, I can't. Music is fucking hard.
Consuming.
Music is fucking hard, man.
It's time consuming.
Like, I can't imagine the production side of things, right? Like, because the production part is like the hardest. Like,
it is, but it's the most rewarding, because I'll tell you why. And this is, I'm glad I thought of this. To me, it's all it is a puzzle. That's all it is to me. It's like, it's a puzzle, and how am I gonna make this fit into this? You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about samples and the way you arrange, the way I do it.
Yeah.
And so to me, it's kind of like doing a word puzzle or something. And that's like, and then once you figure it out, because sometimes you're trying to fit this with this and it's just not working. But then once you get rid of this and then find another piece, and then it works. Yeah. And they click together, then you're like, oh, it's like you found the Holy Grail or something.
You were also, when you were doing you were in a band with David Choe, right?
Yeah.
Wait, how did that start?
Okay. Wait, hold up before I forget. Steebeeweebee.bandcamp.com. That's where you get we're going to get back. Steebeeweebee.bandcamp.com. I feel stir crazy. Get that shit.
It's going to be all in there.
Get that shit. Okay, so my brother, this is obviously pre-corona. Yeah, COVID, whatever. Long time ago, he picked me up. He was like, "You want to get some Korean barbecue?" I'm like, "Fuck yeah!" We're heading towards Koreatown. He fucking, like, we're almost there, and then he's like, "Oh fuck!" And I go, "What?" He goes, "Oh fuck! I forgot I had to do this thing, man. Will you just come with me?" I go, "What? Where do you have to go?" He's like, "I got to do this podcast." And back then, I didn't even know what that meant. What? Yeah. What is that? Just come with me, dude. Come. And I'm like, all right. Back then, I'm a little different now. I'm more like open to shit like that. Yeah. Back then, I was so stubborn. No, dude, let's get some bulgogi. Like, fuck, dude, we're here. Yeah. He's like, dude, I promised this guy. I promised him. I go. So we ended up going to David Choe's warehouse. Yeah. He didn't tell me that. He just said, "Oh, this is my friend. I promised." And so I ended up just going to this place, and And I'm like, first of all, like he had his own warehouse. Like the thing opened and he drove in. He had his own, and there's paintings, the unfinished paintings, and a drum kit. It was just crazy. And I'm like, what the? And then I'm already thinking, who is this guy? So he brings me in there and he's like, and this is when DVD ASA that's the podcast. It was DVD. It was Asa Akira and David Choe. And so they had the podcast room with stuff like this, the gear. And I'm like, whoa.
It was like some serious shit.
It was some serious shit. Yeah. But you know me, like, I like to give courtesy, you know? So I showed him respect because I realized, oh, this is David motherfucking Choe. I was already a fan of his art. Like, I knew his art. I'm a fan, you know, I gave him respect. I go, hey, I just want to good meeting you, like your shit. And so I took literally one of the podcast chairs, I grabbed it, and I walked it way to the corner door away from them. Mm-hmm. You know, you guys do your thing. I'm just gonna sit here.
Yeah.
So I think a couple minutes in, Dave's like, hey, bring your brother over here, you know, get it. Because Asa wasn't there because I sat in her seat. They had an extra seat. And so that was literally like the first time I did this type of shit where I ended up just freakishly getting on the podcast, you know? And then I didn't know what I was doing, but people liked it. And then I ended up coming back again. And I ended up coming back again and again and again and again to the point where I got to meet like Money Mark and then Asa finally. And one day during one of the podcasts, Dave's like, you guys want to record music?
What the fuck?
It was like kind of some random shit, you know? And so...
Did he know that you did music?
Not really. Because this is what happened. This is on some real shit. Like, okay, so at the time... I did my final EP called Duraflame Pencil. And it was a concept album, like a pencil, a Duraflame pencil, you know, like the pencil you write with, Duraflame, you throw that, it catches on fire and you burn it, it's done. So that was a concept album, like this is my last EP. I'm done with music.
Yeah.
You know, and I had quit, gave it up, like the 4-track was, all my gear was in my closet. I'm like, I'm fucking done. You know, I was frustrated, you know. I had put so much time and effort into this shit. And so then I was working at Fat Sal's at a sandwich shop.
Okay.
So I'm working at a sandwich shop, and then I just luckily going to Korean barbecue, freakishly ended up at David Choe's podcast, meeting these cool people. And then we ended up fucking going, dude, he rented this crazy like summer camp log cabin type shit. Like, no, not normal. Like there was different bunkers. It was a whole like cabin resort. Like he rented it for like 2 weeks or some shit.
He's an interesting guy, dude.
It was crazy, dude.
My only introduction to him was obviously a DVD essay, right? Like I only listened to a couple of episodes, but everybody was talking about that podcast, right? And I was like, well, who's David Choe? And then we talked. Obviously that went into him, you know, painting that mural for Facebook, and all the money that he made. Oh yeah. And then recently I listened to the podcast with him and Rogan. And I was like, I listened to
all 4 hours, whatever.
I was like, so this is David Choe. Like
like I went to the Congo.
Yeah. He was like,
to look for a dinosaur.
I'm like, what in the fuck is going on?
Oh yeah.
I don't want anybody to tell me that I'm weird. Like I am not weird.
No, but the thing about him is I didn't realize like art, right? I thought, oh fuck, you know, pens and paintbrush. Like, no. Like I learned this the hard way. Like we were in Minnesota. This is after we formed MATCHA. We're doing a show, and one of the people like that was in charge of the venue was like, hey, we're looking for Dave. We have these spray cans. We wanted him to do art. Can you try to do something? And so, you know, I thought I've never fucked with spray cans, but like I didn't know about can control. I
like how they're looking for David Choe, right? This famous artist is like, well, can you do something?
That's what happened.
Like, what the fuck do you mean?
I tried my best. It looked like a 5-year-old did it. And let me tell you, when he got a hand of that can, I was in shock of what he was able, like, he was doing shit with it. It took him like a couple seconds. He was like, shh. And it looked like like the fucking like a Chinese dude with like a rice hat. Like it looks so detailed.
Yeah.
And then I like asked him after, like, there's like techniques where he would like put his finger cutting the airway or the cap halfway to make the lines more, like
there's like technique to
going back like to art and understanding like the different mediums. Like I had fucking no idea. Like, and that's not even adding like how good he is at watercoloring. But anyway, I'm getting off track. So you're saying, okay, I was talking about Big Bear in the cabin, and fucking so we went there, and Money Mark brought like all of his gear, and dude, we ended up recording what is known now as our first MATCHA album.
That's fucking crazy.
But I know this because they knew. I think they were kind of testing out the waters, like they're seeing if I was able to rise to the occasion of like doing this shit. And I know this. They pulled me aside one night at the kitchen table. This place is huge, by the way. Like there's a pool table. There's like laundry. There's everything. It was like. And they pulled me aside and they're like, we want to do this music, but Steve, we want you to be open-minded. Like, we might want to do some singing shit. Might want to do some punk shit. We might want to do some like top 40, whatever. We just want you to be open to it. But I remember, because this is crazy, because you were in the movie Gook, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I had recorded a song called Gook Boy, and it was on. I was working on a solo project because I think he said like, hey, you could do your solo shit as well, because they later put that out on vinyl and shit. And so we were trying to like figure out how to do music and then they're like, it was like mid-afternoon. They're like, hey, don't you bring your album? Let's hear some of it. And so when I had brought that out, I let them preview some of the songs, and then Mark told me to play the Gook Boy song. And so what ended up happening is I ended up canning that on my solo album, and we ended up redoing that for like, I think that's the first song we worked on.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so Mark did some shit, and then I think the second song was like, These Are My People. And he's such a genius in his own right and shit. One night, dude, he was drinking wine. And it was me, David, Money Mark. It was late. And he was getting a bit tipsy, and he was talking about Adam Yauch from the Beastie Boys.
Oh, yeah.
Because he had passed. Mm-hmm. And he basically said, if he was still alive, I wouldn't even be here with you guys.
The fuck?
I don't think he meant it like that, but me and Dave, we were just like looking at each other like uncomfortable.
I was like, thanks, dude.
Like, I wouldn't even be fucking with you guys if this other guy was here.
You guys still alive?
Yeah, it was just like, you guys would be just...
So how long were you guys, are you guys still going strong or no?
No, it's hiatus right now. I mean, we had a run, man, like...
You guys were touring.
Yeah, like we ended up fucking doing it. We ended up opening, we did an East Coast tour, West Coast tour, we even went up to Canada. We ended up opening for Deltron 3030.
Oh, shit.
We ended up opening up for Die Antwoord. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, and it was fucking really fun, man. I mean, he got a whole fucking Motley Crue tour bus. He got a whole tour bus with our decal on there and shit. I'm like, what the fuck?
So when you guys, what type of music did MATCHA do? Just anything?
It was like fucking rapping, cowboy rapping, punk, singing. It was just everything. This is going back to like, because Dave's such a genius. Like, he's so open to just everything.
Yeah.
And so like, I think it just ran its course. I had a fucking great time with them. I mean, they're still my family. Like,
How many years was that?
Fuck, dude. God, that's a good question. Because we had disbanded, and then Steve Aoki invited us to do a fucking show at Fashion Week in New York.
What the fuck?
It was, dude, let me tell you, it was the weirdest fucking show ever. So he's like, we want to book you guys, but it's going to be at like a modeling fashion gear for Dimmock for his clothing line.
Yeah.
And so it was literally Have you seen Devil Wears Prada?
Yes.
It was on some Devil Wears Prada shit. Like, imagine those types of people in the crowd.
Did you just ask Steve, do you know what the fuck we are?
No, but this is the thing. It was even more weirder because there was skateboarding ramps. So there's like skateboarding actors, like stunt people, like skating while we're performing on top of this mini ramp and no one paying attention.
Oh my God, dude. I those performances are the worst. Like, I hate that shit.
And so literally it was like, we're sweating, doing our thing. And people are just like, like, this is New York.
Hors d'oeuvres,
this is some New York
having a
shit
fucking
too.
martini and shit.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like,
this is some New York shit.
Yeah.
Some fashion week.
Uh-huh.
And then that happened. And then and then that was, I think, the last thing we did. And then I'll tell you this. I mean, this is not bad. This is true, actually. But then later down the line, we heard from the grapevine, like, Steve Aoki wants to remix one of our songs. So I'm like, what, really? This is big time.
Yeah.
And so what ended up happening is he did remix a song, but guess what? He cut out all my audio.
You're like, what an honor. You fucking bastard.
So, but we had hired a Morgan Freeman voiceover actor at the beginning. The song he remixed was called The Best. And so we hired this actor that sounds exactly like Morgan Freeman. And he's just talking before the song even begins. Steve Aoki took his voice.
Oh my God. But he cut all your shit out.
The lead vocalist voice.
That's fucking funny. It's like, I want to remix your shit. Basically, I just want to delete, Steve out of everything.
Steve, your lead, yeah.
That's fucking funny, man.
So, just can you imagine me being so pumped? Like, oh my God, Steve, because he's big.
Yeah.
Oh, he remixed our song. This is gonna rejuvenate our whole group, and
he looks like a wise Japanese sage. That's what he looks like. Every time I see Steve Aoki, I want to see him with the staff flying on a cloud or something.
He is kind of biblical in that sense. He's biblical in the sense of, like, even when he was like walking out to these fashion people, like he was like Jesus Christ walking out and shit. He was like,
sometimes I watch,
he was
like,
doing this shit.
Dude,
like,
I've been watching
doing, you know what I'm saying?
videos of like Steve Aoki interact with people. I'm like, Steve, you ain't gotta do all that, bro. Like, you ain't gotta clasp your hands and start bowing.
No,
he
was doing this shit.
I was like, Steve, you've never done that before in your life. Like,
but I'm telling you, this is real
don't do that shit, bro.
I was tripping. I was like, he's like a godhead.
Oh, for sure.
God, imagine his house, huh?
Oh, listen.
Fucking water slides or
his
the ball pit.
His dad's supposed to be somebody famous too, right?
Dude, he fucking owns Benihana.
Oh, is that what his
you
dad?
Didn't see the documentary? You gotta watch the documentary.
No,
dude,
I never saw the doc.
You have to watch the documentary.
His dad owns Benihana?
He's the dude, yeah.
Oh, just rich people just keep getting fucking richer, huh?
Dog.
Hey, what the
How many times have we eaten? A lot.
My parents.
I love Benihana.
My fucking parents own a black beauty supply store. Your dad fucking sells clothes.
Yeah, my dad owned Fashion Gal. Yeah. What's the Fashion Gal? You don't know about it.
People don't even know.
It's in the sweatshop district.
Yeah. Back in the day, these clothing stores were popping, dude. Like, Korean people owned all these clothing stores.
We're getting back into the Korean shit right now. I'm preparing. Yeah. I'm preparing right now. But you want to do this again? I'll do it. I'll do it. Let's go. I already got something ready right after you. I got something ready right after you, man.
Like you're talking like you're trying to fight me or something. It's like you trying to go. Let's go.
You want to go back to the Korean town? Yeah. I got it right. Let's go.
But like the okages were super popular.
Not only that, dude, is I found out later, dude, the Forever 21, guess where they're getting all their shit? Fashion District.
Oh, yeah. Forever 21 was originally Korean people, right? They're Korean people, huh?
Fashion District.
Yeah.
But this is why they succeeded in our Ajamas and our Imabus shops failed. And I'm going to be real. Those are aunts and uncles.
Yeah.
Because, we had the same shit, inventory, but guess what? Presentation
is everything.
That's what I'm talking about. So what they did is they went to the same place to get their shit, but they hired younger Koreans that were more in the know, fashionable, they knew about aesthetics.
Yeah.
And that's all, they got the chandelier, the fucking thing, marble floor. There you go.
That was the that's like the same concept with like Panda Express. Those little fast food Chinese spots have been around a long time.
We survived off them.
Hell yeah.
That's
like
we would save up for that meal.
Oh, for sure.
Like, oh shit, I got $4.35.
And it's crazy because like Panda Express too is not as good as those mom and pop shop ones are.
No,
but they just market it better.
Yeah.
It's clean. They have a sign.
Yeah. The presentation's cleaner.
The fucking water's not next to the garbage can.
Yeah.
You know?
Dude, I don't know what about, there's another thing that fascinates me about Koreans. It's like, they never choose a profession that they're even like at all. You notice that? It's like, how do I make money? Laundromat.
Yeah.
This podcast is brought to you by JUNBI MATCHA. Do you hate the jitters and crash that coffee gives you? Well, say no more, my friends, because hundreds of thousands of people are drinking JUNBI MATCHA, not only for the health benefits, but for the caffeine boost that lasts without the crash of coffee. You can mix it, have it hot, ice cold, or try it with your favorite juices and have fun with it. Remember, not all matcha is created the same, and JUNBI has the highest quality matcha you can find straight from a farm in Japan, handpicked and curated to get you the best quality there is. No competition. To get 10% off your first order of tins and packets, go to junbishop.com. That's JUNBI shop.com and enter code GeniusBrain to get 10% off your first order. That's JUNBI shop.com, code GeniusBrain.
Well, but what do you think that is? Let's fucking examine that. That has something to do with the old country. That's like on some fucking we don't care if we don't like it. It makes money type shit. Like,
yeah, I don't think like, I think it has to do with like Korean resilience, right?
Yeah, it has something to do with that. Like whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes, it doesn't matter. Because my parents were working like 2-3 jobs too when they first came here.
Yeah.
So there was no complaints. There was no like, I don't want to. So my mom had to clean hotels. My dad was a mechanic,
dude.
and then he also worked for somebody else's beauty supply store at the time.
Dude.
And they never complained. It was just no, like I got to pay my bills. This is what it is.
Yeah. Another example: liquor stores.
Oh, liquor stores is another one.
I mean, we all seen Menace to Society.
Yeah.
I feel sorry for your mother.
Yeah. Yeah.
What'd you say?
Laundromats, liquor stores, and beauty supply stores, and then okage. It's like the
But
random.
this is going back to the whole like, okay, you're a bit racist towards a certain group of people, but you're gonna get a liquor store in their fucking hood, and act like you're good now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's like, what the fuck?
It was weird
That's
too because like when I talked about this a lot too, where I think like perceptively in that community too, because like, Black Americans weren't given business loans, but then you see these random people from Asia come over, and then
I'll be pissed off too if I see some Korean motherfuckers in my neighborhood. They're like, and they're making all the money and shit. I'd be like, well, who the fuck are these people doing?
And the crazy thing was like I remember too, like customers thinking that we made a lot of money, but my parents didn't make a lot of money at all. We were barely getting by.
Rent.
We had to pay rent.
For the overhead.
And it was weird because
and some more Gatorade.
They would come in and they're like, oh, well, you guys have all this money. I'm like, we're broke. Like, I don't know what you're done. We're barely getting by.
Think about it. Okay, if I live in that neighborhood, right, and I want to get a beer, how much was a 40 back then?
Yeah.
$2?
Yeah.
$1.50? There you go. Yeah. you just sold the St. Ides.
Yeah. It's like, like this neighborhood that the store is in, I live in the same neighborhood you live in. Like, I'm also broke with you. Like, we don't have a lot of money. Like, it's just not the case.
It's so crazy, their mentality as far as.
Well, it's just hard because they see, people.
You're in a movie where it's all about.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? The
like
shoe store.
It's like a misunderstanding,
Yeah.
It's like one like Korean people too. Like I said, like when we immigrated here too, our perception of like American culture, Black American culture, Mexican culture is all or whatever the stuff that's not ours is based on what people told us because we don't know. We come into this country blank as fuck, and the problem with that is that Asian people too. They don't question a lot of things, because there's like loyalty to government and everything else.
Yeah.
But in this country, it's a little different. So when they're fed all these like false ideas or negative ideas, like specifically about Black culture, it kind of sticks with them.
And not only that, I think that once Koreans or any kind of Asian family gets accustomed or integrated more, like as years go by, their attitude changes as well.
Oh, for sure.
My pops, rest in peace, like they've changed.
Yeah.
It takes a while. Then before you know it, oh, his golfing homie, there's a Hispanic guy, there's a black,
Yeah.
My dad's got homies from different races he's playing golf with.
Yeah.
So you know what I'm saying? Like
and that generation in this country is going away now too. So
like what do you mean?
Like the more like racially ignorant like immigrants, those people are going away because now we live in like a very global it's super global because of the internet.
Oh
so,
yeah. You know what? That's fascinating. That's interesting you brought that up. Yeah, that definitely, because the exposure.
Yeah, the exposure is different.
They just look on their computer. They're like, oh,
exactly.
There's an Indian guy. Well, this person's from the Middle East. Like different races and shit.
Yeah, this perception of like, I think kind of the racist Asian. It's a little dated now. Like that's
like, when did that go? That's like 90s shit, right?
Exactly. So like
that died off in the 90s, right?
Yeah, it's dying out now, right? Just because now it's second generation, third generation, fourth generation.
Dude, think about the 92 riots. That must have been at the climax, right? Because you had these Korean motherfuckers with AK-47. You know what? They're like, the police ain't going to help us. Yeah, you go.
Well, people didn't understand this either. It was like at the time, when they were thinking that people were just going to bust into these Korean stores. They didn't know that all these Korean men, they went to 4 years of military in Korea.
Yeah,
they know how to use guns.
You got the wrong one there too. Yeah. You got the wrong one. Not only that, I like the fact because you do videos on because a lot of like these random people attacking a random old Asian lady or man or something.
Yeah,
you're kind of playing with fire there as well. Because let me remind you, Virginia Tech, Choe Sung-wee. I just want to take a walk down history lane here.
Dude,
Virginia Tech, Choe Sung-wee, you got the wrong one. You got the fucking wrong one.
I mean, I guarantee you.
You know what I'm saying? Because if you look at that dude, because I still watch his videos, like I'm trying to figure out the psychology of this cat.
Well, this is what's going to happen.
He's a firecracker, dude.
Well, this is what's going to happen. It's like it's going to be it's going to be an old Korean lady that's going to get attacked, and it's just going to go. It's going to go downhill. It's like, oh, you should have never attacked the Korean person.
They'll plan it out.
Yeah.
They'll study that shit like it's their midterm. Yeah. I'm going to chain a door C to door 3B to hall entryway to the...
Do you watch Korean films?
Some.
Have you seen like one of my favorite ones is called I Saw the Devil?
Yeah, I think I did. Yeah.
That is one of the... it's all about vengeance. It's like the whole series of vengeance.
Yeah, that was highly violent. Yeah.
And a Korean person thought about that for a film.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like I always get, when those attacks were happening too, it's just like people are asking me like what I thought about it, right? And the only thing I could really think of is like, well, there's a few things. It's like Asian people it's not passive. It's more like my parents had this idea of if somebody wants to verbally assault me or do whatever, it's like I'm the business owner. Like I'm the one working.
Yep.
Like I don't have to care about the opinions of somebody who's beneath me. And that's how my parents would kind of...
So would you say that now because you're successful and you're like doing your content and your comedy and film and everything?
It doesn't work that way now just because it's a different generation, right?
Right.
So now it was about getting by. Well, now that we're past getting by and there is a youth with a voice, people are going to want to speak up. Sometimes it gets a little annoying, but at the same time, like we need those people to kind of say stuff. Just because if you don't, it's just going to keep happening over and over again. Asian people we're only 5% of this country's population. It's fucking
but
small.
Not only that is another thing Asians do. They know how to hold it in. And let me tell you, boy, it builds up.
Oh, for sure.
And that's, I think, going back to the Virginia Tech shit. Here's this fucking kid, probably didn't have a lot of homies, probably stayed in the dorm room.
He was bullied a lot.
He was bullied.
Yeah.
And one day he was just like, all right, you got the wrong one. I'm going to start researching handguns. I'm going to go to the shooting range. I'm going to plant this. I'm going to get these he planned it out and shit.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think people too, like if you keep pushing people to a corner, something bad is going to happen, right?
You don't do that.
Especially out in New York. Like I'm not sure if like American people even understand this shit. Like New York specifically, when it comes to Chinese people, they're highly connected into like Chinese mafia.
That's why I love watching China Mac shit so much.
Let me tell you something.
He speaks on like, empowering Asians and shit.
Well, I watch a video of China Mac and my ass starts to sweat. Like this guy, this guy scares me. There was a video of this dude.
I love China Mac. Shout out to China Mac, man. I'm a fan of China Mac, dude. I love his shit. Love his music. Love his shit.
Being interviewed, and they were having a conversation about the usage of the N-word, right? And then China Mac doesn't use it anymore because he understands what it means.
Well,
now.
he's been to Rikers,
right? So
he's been in prison,
so he doesn't use it anymore, right?
Yeah.
But then somebody said, he's like, look, if China Mac said the N-word, I'd smack him. And then all of a sudden, the room gets dead quiet.
Oh yeah.
And then China Mac looks at him. He goes, "You smack me?" He goes, "I've never been smacked a day in my life. You smack me?" And he goes, "No, that's not what I said." Like,
Yeah.
I've never seen a dude double back on his words so hard in my life.
A lesson learned: don't fuck with China Mac.
Yeah.
Just don't fuck with that guy.
And you see his homie just like chilling, like in the corner. And you could tell his homie was ready to go. Like he's like, "Oh, shit's about to go down. I'm about to fuck people up." And then China Mac's like, "You ain't gonna smack me. Like nothing's happening." I'm watching this video.
Yeah.
I'm watching
and he meant it. He meant it too. Yeah.
I sweated through my shirt.
Oh yeah.
He's not even next. This happened 2 years ago.
Yeah, I'm such a fan of China Max. I watch his food vlogs. Man, he's got recipes like they're called spreads.
Yeah.
You know, he knows how to make a burrito out of like Doritos.
Talking about prison food right now, dog.
He knows how to make. He knows how to make a burrito, crunching up Doritos and top ramen as like the crust.
Have you tried eating that prison food before?
No, but I'm fascinated because you know why I like it, because it's like it makes me think of like, yeah, I like to put myself in different people's predicaments and shit. Mm-hmm. Like, fuck, yeah, I could probably try some shit like that. Because I've gone through like in Arizona, you know, when I was going to ASU at the end, I was like hella broke.
Oh, for sure.
Like I would steal food off in the cafeteria, you know, food court, Taco Bell, put some of that in my backpack, you know? And so like, I always think like, I mean, there's one time there was like a community kitchen. I was so broke and hungry. I hadn't eaten for a long time that I was so hungry. I fucking just opened the community refrigerator and I saw some gross, old, moldy ass top ramen in the pot, like probably weeks old. And I just said, fuck it. I just grabbed grabbed it. I was starving. I grabbed it and I just fucking put it on the that stove, the kitchen, the community stove. And I just said, fuck it, I'm eating this.
Why the fuck were you so broke?
Okay, so there's a thing called like a food plan. Like it's like kind of like a student ID card, but kind of like a credit card.
Meals.
Yeah, like then they're called blocks. Mm-hmm. We got like the lowest amount that my mom, we didn't know.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to like, because they were struggling at the time as well, you know, even though we did get in-state tuition at the time because my parents had moved to Chandler or whatever, or before moving to Gilbert. And so I just didn't want to bother them and be like, I need more, you know, blocks on this card, you know? So that's when the homies would like sneak me into the cafeteria. I had to do what I had to do.
That's crazy.
Yeah. But going back to China Mac and like why I like watching those
reminds you of that moldy ramen.
The prison spreads. I don't know what it has to do with prison spreads, but it fascinates me watching prison spread like tutorials.
You just get emotional. You're thinking about that ramen you had to heat up. It's like, I miss that.
Yeah. No, but dude, that's when like even back then it's like, because how much is a packet of ramen? Like 29 cents or some shit? Like even you
back then it was like 10 cents, bro. This shit was nothing.
But you could eat that even like without cooking it, like as like.
Oh, 100%.
Like a big, like you would just
crunch
eat
that
it
shit
like,
up and then salt it up and eat it.
Yeah. So I would eat it like that too.
Damn. You know, the funny thing is you probably could have just called your mom and she would have given you some food.
It's, you know what? This is like my downfall, but I think it's that fucking pride.
Yeah.
You know that Korean pride shit where you're just like, I don't want to ask.
Well, I had like issues with that too. It's funny because when I went to UCR.
Yeah.
And then there was something wrong with my financial aid.
What's UCR? Is that
University of California, Riverside.
Riverside.
Yeah. And there was something wrong with my financial aid. And so my check didn't come in. But then just like you, I was so fucking prideful. I couldn't ask my parents for money.
Yeah.
Because I knew we didn't have a lot of money either. And it's so weird. Like you don't want to burden them.
No.
You know what I mean?
You're already helping with tuition and
you're almost
room and
ashamed
board and shit
to ask your parents for something that they would gladly give. You know what I mean?
Were you actually doing like the real college shit that you were supposed to be doing? Like,
no, I did terrible in school.
I was just doing drugs and skateboarding around campus.
My first year, so I didn't want to go to a university at all. I wanted to go to community college first.
Yeah.
And then transfer over into a university later. But my parents.
That's a smart move.
You would think, but then my parents were about, well, you have to go to a university because what fucking Korean kid doesn't get into a university after high school? So I was forced to go to UCR, which there was only 2 colleges that would accept me. It was UC Merced. They just opened up and they were taking every crackhead possible.
Yeah.
And then UCR, I didn't even apply to, and they said I got in.
That's what's up. That happened with me in ASU. That's like, I got accepted?
I was like, I didn't apply.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
So I went to UCR. And so when I went there, I didn't like it because I didn't have any goals. I didn't want to be there. So the first year I almost got kicked out. And then,
what was your GPA?
Oh, shit was like 2 point some shit.
0.45.
You're okay.
0.4.
So you literally did nothing. Okay, I'm sorry. You have to try to get a 0.45.
My roommate was this white surfer dude from like Malibu.
Uh-huh.
He'd literally wake up in the morning and he'd be like, bong rip, dude.
Oh my God.
So I would just be like, and then.
How the fuck do you have a 0.45?
I don't know. What is that? All F? That's like
a negative Z. Like, dog, like how the fuck do you get a 0.45?
I didn't know. Dude, let me tell you, there's one class I went to.
No wonder you couldn't ask your parents for fucking food, you fucking failure.
I know. I was at this child development class. I don't even know what I signed up for. I didn't realize I didn't even have the right book for the whole semester. I didn't even know. This is how. Dude, don't look down on me, please. I'm being honest. I literally. Like it was like I was in the classroom, and it was one of those things where it's like you're in the classroom and you're looking around. Looking around. Hold up. You're looking around and you're like, wait a minute. I don't have the book that they have.
But you know what's so fucked up about this human being right here?
Yeah, I'm fucked up.
He's so fucking prideful. He just said, "Fuck it, I'm gonna pretend." I'm gonna pretend for a whole year.
Check this out. Until the professor had to intervene. She knew because I looked like a lost dog the whole semester. People would be doing their shit, doing their workshop shit, and I'd be like. I would just be like looking around lost, like. So one day
this is like
after
the most
class, she
prideful
goes,
Korean I've ever heard in my life.
Goes, Steven, would you meet me at my office today at 4:30? We need to talk about some things. And so she literally, I don't know if she did this with any other student. It's like she I don't know what term you would call it. She partitioned me, or she did something where she had to act like you didn't take this class. This didn't count. We'll enroll you in some other shit.
She's like, I don't know.
The dumber class.
She goes, I have never seen somebody pretend to read a book for a month straight. She goes, you are a talented human being. I like how she was like, also, your book was upside down for a whole month.
No. This is how I include. I didn't even know where to get the book.
She's like, do you attend the school?
I figured out you have to go to the designated college book store.
I literally picture you sitting in class and then just looking around.
Every day. Every fucking
She's
day.
Like, yo, why does this kid keep looking around as if he doesn't belong here?
No, but then there's another thing. I was faking it till I made it. I was like acting like I was doing their shit.
Oh my God,
I was like writing raps and shit. I was acting like I was doing their shit.
I felt like she was very proud of you because you had perfect attendance.
I was there every day.
Why did you even show up, bro?
I don't know. No, I know. That's a good question.
Why'd you show up?
That's a very good question.
You didn't have to show up.
I know. But this is going back to just my pride.
Shit.
And I thought back then I could fake them. I'm like, you know what? It's kind of like you fake it till you make it. I'm like, I'm just blending in.
I would be so defensive. Somebody looks at you, they go, yo, you got the wrong book. I'm like, bitch, you got the wrong book. The fuck are you talking about? Like,
I just had a regular notebook you could buy at Target. I just had a regular binder notebook with nothing in it. like trying to. Yeah, I think this is what I now. In my defense.
What? There's no defense here.
But just hear me out. I think I got a regular binder and not the real literature to at least try. At least give me this. I attempted to take notes.
I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck, bro. I don't care that you
I tried to take
what
notes.
Were you taking notes on?
I don't know.
You didn't even know what class.
That's why I was even more confused because they're doing theses and they're actually. I think this was advancing. This is the class. They're about to be in the working profession as in child development. They're doing their final exams. And I was just lost.
I like how you still. Why did you show up for the fucking exam?
I don't know, David. I don't know why I showed up. I don't know why.
Why did you show up for the test? You knew you weren't going to pass it. You didn't even have the fucking book. Like, what are you talking?
Can I give you another sob story?
Yeah.
There are certain classes where you would have outside the department they would post the grades at the bulletin, like outside the certain designated buildings. And I just remember like looking for my name, and I'd be looking, and then I would see the F, and I would just start crying.
You know what makes me laugh the most? The fact that
I was mourning.
I was fucking mourning, brother. Of course you had a fucking F. Why are you surprised? Like, why are you looking for it? You should already know.
I don't know why. I know some of my behavior was suspect, wasn't it? We have to edit this out, please. I don't want my mom to watch this. I don't want my mom to watch this.
What?
I don't want my mom to watch it. She'd be so ashamed.
I like how you're still looking to see if your grade wasn't an F. You should know it's a fucking F. And then why are you crying like you're surprised?
It took me 9 years to graduate. It took me 9 years to graduate. Let that sink in. It took me 9 years to graduate, man. It took me 9 years. I don't even know what degree it is. I don't know what I got. I have the diploma in my desk at home. David, I have no idea what the diploma is. It's called interdisciplinary studies. I have no idea what that even means. I have no idea what I have. It's basically, they should have said this degree is for dum-dums like you. Oh man, I'm sorry. My mom can't watch it though. I'm sorry. You got me crying too.
Oh shit!
You're the first one to question why I showed up. No family has ever asked me that. You're the only one. Thank you. Thank you for asking me why. Thanks for asking me why I did.
If your mom knew about this, she said, "Why'd you go?"
No, she thought I was getting straight A's. I mean, according to her, I was killing it. But as year 5 rolled around, year 6, that drive to the university got a little bit more suspicious. She'd just be like driving, it'd be quiet.
Like,
and she'd be like, so you're going to do it this year?
It's been 9 years. Shouldn't you be a doctor already?
I just remember our graduating class was like 5 people in like the corner.
Yo, I feel like
our class. You know how there's like main class people who stand up and
yeah.
people business. Like ours was like 5 people. Like just the people that the business system.
I just picture you just keep getting caught in a lie
from prison,
and you can't stop.
What?
you just can't stop. Like if your mom asked you if you were a doctor, you would buy a stethoscope the next day, and then you would just get to put out a diploma, and you would have that little silver tin can right on top of your head.
Yeah, dude. I went to student admissions to see a counselor there, and when she looked up my stats and like my grades, she was shocked. She's like trying to figure out, and you've been here how many years? And so she had to figure out, we gotta get you out of the system. And so I think interdisciplinary studies was something they had to create to get people like me out of their system. Like, I was there so long. I would always go to the same dorm. I almost on like every corner. I've lived in so many different dorm rooms there.
You were in the same dorm for 9 years?
No, I was at Manzanita, and then I went over to across campus at this place called Ocotillo, because the rooms, you didn't have to, there was no inside hallway. It was like this old motel that they converted years later into a dorm. So it was the size of a prison.
You're Van Wilder, dude.
What do you mean?
You're fucking Van Wilder. Van Wilder's the fucking super college dude. He stayed in college for like 8 years
That's
straight.
me for sure.
You're fucking Van Wilder.
I'm Van Wilder, the Asian Van Wilder, dude.
So you could buy alcohol for everybody in the dorms and shit. Oh
yeah,
my god,
dude. I was that
too
guy.
fucking funny. I just find it so.
You're the first person to ask. Why did you? That's a very good question. I didn't need to, did I?
You didn't have to go.
But there's a part of me. I'm trying to think of my thought process. A part of me thought I could fool them.
Why?
But I wasn't fooling anyone.
I just like there's a professor just so confused. Like, this guy has not figured it out. Why is he here? And he's here on time every day.
I just remember it was like midterm week, and I'm like on mushrooms and just like laying in my dorm room bed, staring at the ceiling, like seeing ghosts like look down at me.
Oh my god.
I was out there, man.
That's fucking crazy. So you're doing shrooms, you're doing everything.
Everything. Dude, this would be my daily routine. So I would fake go into my, like, I would go to my classes, and so I had like some kind of sense of accomplishment.
Yeah.
And me and the homie Joe Munoz, he was an older Native American homie, because I ended up moving into the Native American. There was like an African American section, Native American section. It was like more like our peoples, like minority, people, ethnic people.
Yeah.
I met this guy, he was into graffiti. He liked the same type of hip hop. Like he was into Funk Dubious and Cypress Hill and shit. And so we would literally, I'd watch, he was older. Every night I'd watch him with this JanSport backpack walking towards the liquor store. And then I found out this guy drank double deuces every night.
Oh, this was a motherfucking stereotype, huh?
But this is not that he did this for real though.
Oh wow!
And then I started doing that. Like every night, I would drink before I ate. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that's why I was so fucking hungry all the time, because it would mostly be beer.
Yeah.
So every night we'd do the walk. We'd come up back with the backpack filled with the old E double deuces, or back then we were King Cobra, whatever did the trick. You know what I mean? And so that was my fucking nightly routine.
God damn.
I became an alcoholic. That's what happened.
How the fuck are you alive?
I don't know.
How the fuck are you alive?
I don't know.
That's fucking nuts to me.
I don't know.
So you started. Wait, when was the first time you had a drink?
Oh, that's a good question. I think it was my older cousin Paul Choe. He was older than us, and he had bought. I remember. Have you heard of Strawberry Hill? It's like this cheap wine.
Mm-mm.
So he had bought this bottle of Strawberry Hill, I think, and then I drank that, and I remember throwing up. But then when I really started drinking was in, because I wrestled. I was ranked second in Cali. I was supposed to win the state tournament my senior year, but I choked.
That's pretty fucking amazing, though.
I choked. And so, the program I was raised. I mean, Poway is known for the wrestling program. Like they grew me since like 6th grade, like to win state or And I had choked, and then I went into such a depression that I just that had happened. Then I'm like, fuck it. I started going to the house parties. Fuck it, give me that. Let me smoke that, and then I miraculously got accepted to ASU, Arizona State, and that's when it progressed.
Oh, yeah, it progressed. Then on.
Yeah,
that's great. Because I think the first time I had an alcohol, I was like 13.
Yeah,
I was super young, and it was always like from a homie or like a cousin or some shit.
Yeah,
it was my cousin.
Yeah.
It was my cousin.
It's always some family shit, huh?
Yeah, he snuck some E&J from his dad's like liquor cabinet.
Some hard liquor.
Yeah, and then he put it into an Arrowhead bottle.
There you go.
And then we just drank that night, and that was the first time I had alcohol.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, and then I stopped drinking probably a lot when I hit 21.
Really?
So it was like from 13 all the way till like I was 21. And then 21 I stopped a bit. And then when I moved to K-Town, I went all the way.
Yeah. Hey, is it wild down there?
I mean,
like living there and shit?
K-Town was fun, man. Like, especially when I was single, right? So it's like when I was single and it was
like
in the
club. Tell me about the clubs. What is it popping? Like the club scene and shit?
Well, not now because of like Rona, but
I know, but before then.
Oh, for sure. Like
Dumb's like the king over there, huh?
I'm not
Dumb and Rex. Shout out to Dumb and Rex.
I mean, everybody. So I used to have this big ass apartment out in K-Town. It was like a 3,400 square foot apartment.
Yeah.
It was in the middle of K-Town. It's like this older building, huge fucking spot. So we had me and my roommate, specifically my buddy Ed. He won this video competition with Jinro Soju.
Damn.
And so
endorsement deal shit.
So he won a lifetime supply of it. Or like a year worth supply or some shit.
Yeah.
And so his room was just stacked with just Jinro bottles.
Oh shit.
So every night we would just tell people to come over and drink. So almost every other night we had a party at our apartment.
What's the alcohol content? What kind of liquor is that shit? Is that
soju.
sake? Oh, that's soju.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So we would drink soju every night. Dumb would come over. Anderson Paak, everybody.
Oh, they would just come through?
Yeah. Because we would just leave the door unlocked. We're like, just fucking come through and drink. And so we would just throw house parties all day. Yeah. Until we killed that whole year supply in like 6 months.
Damn, that must have been quite a scene.
It was fun. I don't remember a lot of it. Like we drank a lot though. Like we drank.
Females would be coming through too?
Everybody.
Just everybody.
Yeah, it was
so
fun.
Would you say K-Town has its own like culture, like subculture within it and shit?
Hey, before like these bloggers and shit, they used to be.
Oh, because they blew it out of.
Yeah, they kind of did stupid shit. Like for example, there's a lot of these speakeasies, right? So in LA after 2 a.m., all liquor spots shut down. So
but then those down the low, like on the down low spots.
Exactly. There's a bunch of these speakeasies that we would go to, but these fucking little bloggers would talk about, yo, I went to K-Town, and so they would get shut down.
They blew it up.
Yeah, it's like, what the fuck are you doing, dude? Shut the fuck up.
Well, you got to confront them. Be like, dude, you can't be doing that shit.
Yeah,
you're gonna blow up our spot.
So we used to do that. So from 2 a.m. and then after we would go to the late night spots, then from 2 a.m. all the way to like 8 a.m. we drink, and then we wake up and we do it again.
I always want there's also this darker side. Well, because I used to go, I forgot where it is, the sauna, the 24-hour saunas. Me and Bob would go there, but then this one had like a ping pong table and pool tables and shit. You know, they would sell like Pacas D, like we loved it there. But then there's this also part of it where we'd be getting out of the sauna, and then there's be these hot Korean ladies with like prom dresses.
Oh, you're talking about the Tomi girls, right?
I don't know what it is, but they were going into this whole other area, and we like, what the fuck is this shit? Like,
yeah, so there's like stuff that...
what is a Domi? What is that shit?
It's an escort.
Oh, so there's that too. That's what it was.
So back in the day, like Tomi girls used to only be Korean girls. Now, if in K-Town you see like these Russian girls, a lot of them are Russian girls.
They're called Tomi
girls. They're escorts, right?
But that's like on the low, right? Like
yeah, it's on the low.
So LAPD don't know.
I'm pretty sure they know. I'm pretty sure they know about it, but they're escorts.
But dude, that's what I'm saying. K-Town's got like this. It's like a bubble that's hard to infiltrate and shit.
For sure,
right?
And like also too, like escorts aren't illegal. Yeah,
because that's like on like sites and shit, or
exactly. Escorts aren't illegal, but who knows what they do after if you give them a little more money, right?
Wait, I got a funny escort story.
Oh no,
Arizona. Okay, so my Native American homie Strange, we call him Strange. His name's Derek though. His rapping name was Strange.
Okay.
Very educational. He had a bunch of Native American. He knew his history and shit. Worked at the casino at night. And so I'm like, okay, he's gone. I saw him put up on his uniform. He's out. So there was like Tempe. They had this their own like local newspaper thing where, in the back had call girls.
Yeah.
And so I had called one up and showed up but didn't knock on my door. I had a sliding glass door in the back and knocked on it. And first off, it wasn't the person it was just some other white methed out lady, that just showed up. And so I'm like, fuck it. So she came in and our bedrooms were upstairs. It was a janky ass apartment, by the way.
Yeah.
Cockroaches, all that shit. Walked up there and we get into my room and she goes, okay, what I need from you, honey, is for you to get naked. So, but I'm thinking, I was so stupid. Obviously, I'm dumb. I'm like, oh, okay. And so I got naked. But the thing is, the first thing you'd ask is, aren't you supposed to get naked?
Yeah. Yeah.
Why am I getting
Why me first?
it was me.
Yeah.
And so the next thing she said was, now, honey, do you have any lotion in here? I go, oh, like you mean hand lotion? Any kind of lotion would do, honey.
Are you a little dry? Like, yeah.
No, I just don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm under the spell.
Yeah.
And so I go, yeah, I think I got some in the bathroom.
Yeah.
And so right when I get in the bathroom, I just heard this doom like her running down the stairs and the door slamming in. She took my money.
Yo, Steve, what the fuck happened?
Why can I tell you one more?
Hold on a second. Let's unpack this for a fucking second.
I'm so ashamed.
What?
I'm so ashamed. How am I going to tell this to the homies?
Why?
How am I going to explain this to the homies,
Yo,
man? This is going to be a hard one to get out of.
It must be like a fucking genetic trait for you and your brother to get jacked. Because like your brother
He got jacked in South Africa.
Yo, why do you guys keep...
He took his wallet.
You know what the problem with
in front of the hotel.
This is the problem with both of you.
Yeah, we get
You
jacked.
guys don't question things. It's just,
I know.
sweetie, I need you to get naked. You're like,
sorry, I'm sorry.
and you're like, of course.
I'm sorry. Yeah, just okay. I guess this is. This is going back to. I guess this is what I have to do. I just show up to class, even though I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I feel like this is what I have to do. This is what they do. They show up to class.
I'm surprised you get kidnapped as a kid. It's so easy.
I know.
That's too funny.
So fast forward to, I'll end it. This is the LA experience now. Okay, so years later, this is like probably in my 30s or late 20s, maybe when I was working at me, but maybe early 2000 or something. Obviously didn't have a girlfriend. I call up a LA one and she came over and I noticed she was like on her fucking her BlackBerry the whole time. And then she started saying some things, but then a red flag started going off because the language is similar to that one lady that got me in Tempe.
You're like, wait, hold on a second. I've seen this before.
Similar language. Do you have the money? And so it was one of those things like, let's say this is the money and she's sitting right here. My bed, I didn't even have a fucking frame for it. It was like just one of those mattresses on the ground. So we're low to the ground. And then I put my money here. She hadn't grabbed it yet. But then this is the major red flag. She said, okay, I need you to get naked. Do you have lotion? Do you have lotion?
You already knew.
And so I go, wait a minute. This is the same thing how I got robbed before.
What are these girls?
Hold on, let me finish.
Yeah.
So this is the money, right? I go, no, I don't think I want to do this anymore. You're going to have to leave.
Yeah.
And she goes, what's the problem, dear? Like, why are you tripping? What's going on? And so I go, I changed my mind. I don't want to do this. I don't want to go through it.
Yeah.
So next thing you know, she has like whatever her
Pimp.
crew chief man, whatever her manager. It's a pyramid thing, you know. She gets her on the phone and she was like, what's the matter, honey? Now, what's the problem? Why are you pulling this bullshit? You know, my girl went over there, blah, blah, blah. And so, I just had to change my mind. I don't want to do it anymore, you know? And so I thought it was over. And then you've been to my place, like that. You have to open the side gate to get, so I see her exit the door, but then simultaneously I see this fucking cholo ass motherfucker.
Oh, shit.
He had his hand behind his back. And he was like, you got the money, fool? Hey, I said, you got the fucking money, fool? And I'm just like, and then so I'm like arguing in the courtyard, and I'm like, we didn't do anything, And so I'm pleading because I don't know if this guy's got, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. And then I ended up giving him $40.
Oh my God, man. Why do you live your life so dangerously?
That's the last time that has ever happened. I've never done it since. And that was like 2000.
Let me tell you something. There's a lot safer places you could get this done.
Oh, how about just jerk off?
That's true. This is true.
Jerk off, dude.
This
you don't have to go through all that, dude.
I don't know about this personally, but I've heard Vegas. Well, this is the reason why I know like Vegas is really good for this shit, right?
Yeah.
So when I was doing the traveling show Send Foods, right? I was just trying to get a regular massage. Right, because my back was all tight just because we've been playing so much.
Yeah, that's understandable.
It's like 11 p.m.
Yeah,
and so there's a few late night massage spots that are open, and I would come in, and I told Tim I got really fucking pissed because I just wanted a massage.
Yeah,
and so I went in there and I'm like, hi. How much is a massage? And they're greeting me all super nice, and I'm like, cool. She was like, okay. Are you looking for a massage? I'm like, yeah, for a massage. She was like, yeah, my back is really tense. She goes, oh, we don't do that here, and I'm like. What do you mean you don't do that? You're like, I want a massage. She goes, no, it's not that type. And I'm like, okay, whatever. I go to fucking 3 spots. None of them would give me a regular massage at all.
But it's marketed like it's a massage place or acupuncture.
So what my friend told me was like, yeah, they'll do massage in the day, but those girls are there for the daytime, and they do have that. But why would they want to give you an hour massage for less money when they could just jack you off in 10 and they make like triple the money?
Right.
So like people aren't really going to those spots at 11 p.m. to get a regular massage.
Right. They want a hand job.
So let's probably just don't invite these people to your home.
Oh no, lesson learned. Lesson learned. So folks, it's not worth it. Folks, don't do what I did.
Oh shit.
I learned, but that's the thing with me. I gotta get hit over the head, man.
Multiple times.
Multiple times. To where my life is threatened. And then I know, wait a minute, I know not to do that.
I just pictured you just like in that situation, you throw the money there.
Never again.
You look just like that moment in class. We're just looking around. Like your own home. Like,
I don't know what's going on.
That's funny. Hey.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to wrap
all right,
up this
SteebeeweebieBandcamp.com. Yes. I feel stir crazy. Get off my Bandcamp. I appreciate it. Even if it's one song, at least listen to it. If you want to buy it, buy it. Tell a friend. Hey, if I give you something, I edited a quick little. How are you editing this? Do you edit it?
I edit it, yeah.
Before you edit it, I got this little small 10-second thing that I just like a preview of some of the songs. Can you put it at the end of this episode?
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
That'd be no problem. It's already edited. All you'd have to do is stick it.
No, just give it to me.
Oh, dude, thank you.
Yeah.
That would help because it like previews some of the songs and everything.
Yeah. I'd love to.
That was fun, bro.
Yeah, man.
Do you think we need to edit any of that shit out?
No, we're good.
That's good. That's good.
Dude,
I'm not.
We're fucking good.
No.
Even this part's going.
No, but we're good. We're good.
We're good. You can catch the Genius Brain Podcast every Thursdays and Sundays. I'll look through the footage to see if I have to delete shit.
Okay. All right.
And we'll see y'all next time.
All right.
Peace.
Oh my God.
Skip is a trip, feeling blue like a crib. Frame for robbing a bank, letting loose from the hip. He really couldn't predict this script was so full of angst. Him and Henry Woodpeckers did a song and dance at big. Oh, rodeo man in the West, you can. You're the best on the land. 2 plus the sands to the bull with your hand. Oh, skip, you can. Get that fucking bull, pull on that rope. Feeling stir crazy, maintaining against the grain. Making me wanna get in a plane. The pain inside my brain never ends sustain. I'm down for the count on the ground freight train. Living today, don't give it away. They're preaching the praise, the raise. Shining it down to mightiest crowns, the finest of frowns delayed. Skibby's afraid, he feels betrayed. Live this way, can deal with shade. A spade is a spade, he made the grade displayed in a charade of pain. I am not a man, I am an animal, a male. I live by maritime, the law of water, about to sail. Where my mother had me, I slipped out of her canal. What you call a sailing ship is named after a female. Ooh, ooh. never shown. Hold